in this gothic underground city. We all sin. If I bring a couple rounds with me, then we all win.
Hey there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back another episode of Into the Bad Zones. This is our limited series that's dedicated to Necromunda Outlanders campaign, and this is battle report number 14, and it is a sneak attack scenario that is fought between myself as well as my good friend Dark Lord Mac. My friend Dark Lord Mac is bringing Soylent Green, which is his Corpse Guild Outcast gang that has been corrupted by Nurgle, as you can see here on the perimeter of the battlefield. And I will be playing the Gung-Ho Guns, which is the House Escher Outcast gangs who will be playing Defender on this one as well. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play some background music real quick. As the music is playing, we will show you photos of both gangs as well as the rosters. If you want to know exactly what they're bringing for this one, go ahead and pause and take a look at your own leisure. So that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about our battle reports. This one is going to be a stealth attack scenario. This takes place during the expansion phase of the campaign, which is the second half of the Outlanders campaign that we're currently doing. And on this one, I will be the defender, while my buddy Dark Lord Mac will be the attacker on this one. He will get his entire gang to actually do this scenario, while I start with 5 randomly chosen fighters who are deployed in the center of the battlefield. Dark Lord Mac's guys can deploy anywhere they want on the edges of the battlefield, and as you can see, he's deployed here, as well as most of his forces down over here in the bottom, as well as some guys on the left-hand side as well. Now, for the rest of my gang is set up on the side as reinforcements, and once the alarm is raised, I have 2 randomly chosen fighters will arrive in the end phase for every single turn until the battle is over with. Now, the victory conditions for this one is that the attacker must achieve a certain basically a certain mission is what they have to do. Now, there's 3 different types they could choose from. They could either choose the assassinate, sabotage, or raid type of objectives. In this situation, he has chosen to do the sabotage, which means he must choose 3 terrain features within 12 inches in the middle of the battlefield. The attacker makes a double action, which is a sabotage action, and places a token on a terrain piece. Once 3 tokens are placed upon 2 terrain pieces, the objective is achieved. So basically, he's going to be trying to take out this set of sandbags as well as one of these bunkers. It's up to him which one he wants to do, and that's pretty much what his role is for this one. So as you can see, he's got all of his forces kind of deployed along the perimeter of the battlefield, so that way he can achieve that objective pretty quickly as well. Now, once he is done, of course, achieving that objective, he pretty much wins. Now, for the rewards on this one, the attacker earns 2d6 times 10 credits, and if I win on this one, I earn d6 times 10 credits. All participants receive 1 experience point, and the attackers who manage to assassinate their target also earns additional d6 experience, but we're not doing assassination on this one. Now, for reputation, if the attacker achieves the sabotage objective, which is what's being chosen in this one, they earn d3 reputation points, and of course, if any gang bottles out, they lose 1 point reputation as well. Now, as for the Outlander campaign reward, since sabotage is the objective being used on this one, my buddy Dark Lord Mac can earn d6 salvage if he manages to achieve his objective. So now that we have our scenario rules over with, let's go ahead and talk about deployments. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about deployment real quick. So starting off with Dark Lord Mac, over here on the bottom portion of his table, right in the center there, right next to that little structure, that is Fecula Flyblown. She's a pale coral consort with a weird archetype. She's got mesh armor, long rifle, last pistol, knife, a metaskull, and respirator. She's got the fearsome overseer, as well as the fast healing abilities, as well as stop bleeding abilities as well for her weird power. Now, right next to her, of course, we have our 2 other characters. We have Sepsimus, which is a corpse grinder. He's got an armor undersuit, mesh armor, chain glaive, auto pistol, as well as crushing blow. Then we have Tulok the Broken, which is this guy right here, who's equipped exactly the same way as well. Now, right next to him, this guy carrying the giant bone in his hand. That guy's character is named Urg, Outcast Hive Champion, Outcast Hive Scum. He's got mesh armor, a Lasco telescopic sight with a hot shot last pack, as well as a power hammer, as well as a stub gun. And over here on the right hand side, that is Rodicus. He is an Outcast Hive Scum with Mesh Armor, Last Gun, Telescopic Sight with Hotshot Last Pack. He's got a Flail as well as a Stub Gun as well. And that pretty much makes the plan for this group here. Over here on the other side here, we have Gerlach, was the guy in the orange pants over there. Gerlach is Outcast Champion, the Gunslinger Archetype. He's got Mesh Armor, a Plasma Gun, Stub Gun, Dum Dum Rounds, as well as Fast Shot ability. Now on either side of these guys, we have Festus and Malignus. They're both Outcast Hive Scums, equipped exactly the same way, with Mesh Armor, Last Guns, Telescopic Sights, Hotshot Last Packs, Flails, as well as a Stub Gun. And then right between them is Fiddlesticks, which is a level 3 Chaos Spawn. Over here on the left-hand side is another little fire team over here. In the back, that's the Wretchling. He is a Bone Scrivener with the Gunslinger archetype. He's got Mesh Armor, Grenade Launcher, as well as Gun Skull. He's got a Stiletto Knife, as well as a Cult Icon and a Respirator. And leading this group as well, I believe one guy is called Pestis. He's got Mesh Armor, Last Gun, Telescopic Sight with a Hotshot Last Pack, as well as a Flail and Stub Gun. And then right next to him, that character's name is Bubo. He's got a Mesh Armor, Last Gun, Telescopic Sight, Hotshot Power Pack, as well as a Power Axe and a Stub Gun. And making up the plan for Dark Lord Mac over here on the right hand side, we have 2 Chaos Spawn. We have Dire Song, which is the blue one, as well as Thraxia Unclean, which is the flesh colored one. And right next to him is Reek, which is a Outcast Hive Scum with Mesh Armor, Last Gun, Telescopic Sight, Hotshot Power Pack, and Chain Cleave. And that pretty much makes up the deployment for Dark Lord Mac on this one. Now, as for my deployment, I only have 5 fighters in this right now because they're all randomly chosen. So let's start with this guy here in the back. That character's name is Deaded Lee. He's an Outcast Hive Scum. He's got Mesh Armor, Armor Undersuit with a Plasma Gun, Telescopic Sight. He's got a Stub Gun, Dum Dum Rounds, Photo Goggles. He's also my Gang Specialist. Right next to him is One Shot Blonde. She's an Outcast Hive Scum with Mesh Armor, Photo Goggles, Hotshot Blast Gun, as well as a Stub Gun. In the middle there, that is Scabs, the Dramatis Personae character. He's got Mesh Armor, an Armored Undersuit, Plasma Gun, Stub Gun, Dum Dum Rounds. He's also got Filter Plugs, Photo Goggles, and Ammo Cache. He's also got the Clamber, Escape Artist, Infiltrate, and Lie Low skills. Right next to them on the right hand side, that is Trixie. Trixie is an Outcast Hive Scum. She's got Mesh Armor, Photo Goggles, Hotshot Last Gun, as well as a Stub Gun. And flying right next to her on the right hand side, that is Sheik Shabazz. He's an Outcast Champion with a Gunslinger archetype. He's got Mesh Armor, Armored Undersuit, a Long Rifle with Infrared Sight. He's got a Stub Gun with Dum Dum Rounds, and Fast Shot. And that pretty much makes up my deployment for this one. Now, as for battle plans, Dark Lord Mac is going to try to come in at all sides and destroy the terraces of terrain that he needs to. For me, though, I don't really have any control of my troops right now because we have sentry rules for those guys. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 1 and we roll for initiative to see which of us will be going first. So that takes us directly to the top of turn number 1 on this one, and I actually get the initiative on this one. So that part was kind of nice. First of all, for the most part, I really didn't have much of a choice of anything what was going on. Trixie got activated first, and she randomly ran off this way, and same thing with Deadhead Lee. Originally, he climbed down from the bunker and was actually heading down to this direction. However, though, I was able to regain control of him, of course, so because I made him go back this way. Meanwhile, Dark Lord Mac, for the most part, was pretty much just opening doors, so that way he could have access points directly into my area, so that way he could start laying some attacks down with the sabotage. Now, what happened was this. He wasn't expecting for me to regain control of Deadhead Lee. So what he was trying to do is actually take his guys and go around the corner here, so that way they can infiltrate closer into the settlement area. However, though, I managed to get control of this character. I turned around, he fell within the vision arc, and so because of that, the alarm is raised. And so now that the alarm is raised now, we just play normal rules of Necromunda, and I have my work cut out for me because I only got 5 members on the table right now, and I have the entire gang to worry about. So let's go and talk about those activations next. Alright, so let's go and talk about the action phase thus far. Just to let you guys know, this is actually taken after several activations taking place, and those pretty much all my activations are pretty much done, so the rest of the turn will be dedicated to Dark Lord Mac. So the very first thing, of course, I did is I activated Deadhead Lee. I had him do a simple action move back behind cover, and another basic action over fire this Plasma Gun. He does manage to hit that character, but all I do, though, is I manage to put a serious injury directly onto him, so because that Reek is laying down and he's currently bleeding out. Now, from there, of course, we do have some more guys coming in, Fiddlesticks as well. I believe that's Pustus. They both move in as well. Pustus does start taking a shot at One Shot Blonde, but he misses for the most part as well. Now, One Shot Blonde, of course, she does try to hit Fiddlesticks, but unfortunately for me, though, I missed that shot horribly on that one. And of course, over here on the next page over, we have Thraxian Clean. He actually moves up double movements forward directly into Sheik Shabazz and engages him in close combat. Managed to put a flesh wound on him too, which is actually all kinds of sad. And then activate, what's his name? Scabs. Scabs does a basic action aim and another basic action open fire with his plasma gun directly into Dire Song. I do manage to hit him, but I fail to wound him. So because of that, he is just currently pinned right now. And then afterwards, of course, as you can see, some more fighters moving up directly into the center there. And then finally, for my last activation, I activated Trixie. She tried to shoot directly at Thraxian Clean, but unfortunately, though, I kind of messed up that shot. I missed that shot completely, so not much really happened. And to make add insult to injury, I also got an ammo roll on that one as well. So these are all my activations, and the rest of the turn will be dedicated to Dark Lord Mac. Alright, so that takes us directly to the action phase for turn number 1. As you can see, the rest of the turn is pretty much dedicated to my buddy Dark Lord Mac. So let's go and start over here in the back corner real fast. So like we said before, Pestis pretty much is seriously injured right now, but right behind him though, that character Malignus came up and tried to do a pot shot with his hot shot last gun directly into Deadhead Lee. Managed to hit him as well as pin him, failed to wound him though, so that part was pretty lucky on that part. Now right behind them is the Wretchling. The Wretchling of course is the champion, the Bone Scrivener. He does a simple action, go around the corner, open fire with his grenade launcher, firing a frag grenade directly into One Shot Blonde. Not only does he manage to hit her directly as well, he also managed to put her out of action with an eye injury, so she will lose 1 point of her ballista skill, at the same time go directly into recovery. Meanwhile, down over here on the bottom portion of the page, as you see, Fiddlesticks makes his way directly towards the sandbags, so that way he can start putting his assault against that terrain piece. Right behind him, we have Reek. Reek does move up forward, his normal wound allowance, and open fires his hotshot last gun directly into Scabs. He does hit Scabs, but unfortunately for my buddy Dark Lord Mac, though, he fails to wound him. Now, right behind him, of course, we have Gerlach as well. Gerlach comes in, firing his plasma gun as well, doing a simple action to move up forward, another simple action open fire directly at Trixie, who's all the way back over here. Unfortunate for Dark Lord Mac, though, he does miss his shot, so because of that, Trixie is completely fine. And then right next to him, of course, we have, what's his name? That's Rodicus. Yeah, he moves up forward as well, tries to do another shot with his hot shot last gun directly into Scabs, but unfortunately misses his shot there as well. Now, meanwhile, over here on the right-hand side of the battlefield, as you can see, the rest of the team is just kind of moving up forward. On the left-hand side there, we got Tulok the Broken. He's taking point, followed by Fecula Flyblown as well as Urg. Over here on the right-hand side, we have Sepsimus taking point in the front, followed by that fighter's name is Bubo, is his name right over there as well. And then last over here, we have Festus moving up right behind this wall, with Dire Song moving up as quickly as he can. And that pretty much makes up the action phase for turn number 1. So with the action phase over with, we go directly to the end phase. Alright, so during the end phase, first of all, we got to check up over here for this guy named Malignus is his name. He actually makes a flesh wound roll on his injury die. So because he flips over, he's currently pinned, he has a flesh wound on him as well. So he can still fight, still shoot, still be considered a threat. So got my work cut out for over there as well. Now meanwhile, for my reinforcements, 2 of my reinforcements do arrive. I have 2 of them that shows up. On the left-hand side, that is Cal Jericho. That is the leader of my gang, as well as Dramatis Personae. He's a gunslinger archetype. He's got a lot. He's got mesh armor, armored undersuit, 2 mastercrafted hotshot last pistol, dueling saber, filter plugs, strip kit, photo goggles. He's got the counterattack, gunslinger, inspirational, spring up, step aside, as well as commanding presence ability. And right next on the right hand side is Mayday, another Outcast Hive Scum. She's got mesh armor, photo goggles, a hotshot last gun, as well as a stub gun. And unfortunately for me, when I rolled to see exactly who was going to be able to control the deployment of these reinforcements, I failed that roll, so Dark Lord Mac got to choose where they went. And he decided to put them all the way across this corner, with had to cross this really dangerous bridge in order to join into the fight. So I do have my work cut out for me. So with that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 2, and Dark Lord Mac and I roll for initiative to see which of us will be going first. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top of turn number 2, and the Soylent Green managed to get the initiative on this one. So for Dark Lord Mac's first activation, he activates Fecula Flyblown, who uses her commanding presence ability, of course, to activate Urg, as well as with Tulok the Broken. However, she decided to use her Overseer ability off Tulok the Broken. So as you can see here, Tulok the Broken did a set of simple movements to climb directly to the top of this bunker, then did for a second activation, charge directly into Scabs, engage in close combat. Now I got pretty lucky on this one. Only one of his attacks I actually managed to get through with his Chain Glaive. However, though, he did put a serious injury directly onto Scabs, so Scabs is currently bleeding out, and he's extremely vulnerable for being taken out of action with a coup de grace. At the same time, Urg also does move up forward in order to get to the base of this bunker, so that way you can start attacking it, so that way you can start sabotaging it as well. Now, as for my activation, I then activated my buddy over here, Cal Jericho, my leader. First of all, I did a group activation Mayday. Mayday did a double set of movements to move all the way to the end of the bridge originally, and that's where she's stationed there. And then I, of course, moved up Cal Jericho. Excuse me. Cal Jericho moved up his normal Moodle Lounge and opened fire directly into Rodriguez, which is the Outcast Hive Scum over here. Managed to hit him twice with my hot shot last pistol. Oh, sorry, I missed with my first shot with my first Mastercrafted hot shot last pistol, even with the reroll, and that's why I had to use my second shot. Managed to hit him as well as wound him as well. And he also failed his initiative test and fell down directly into the abyss, also suffering a critical injury on that one as well, and netting myself a bonus experience point, which is kind of nice. What that did, of course, is it also forced Gerlach, which was the Outcast champion, to take a nerve test for having a friend going down within 3 inches out of action, and he unfortunately failed that. So because he fled back, I think 6 inches, and he's currently running with his nerve currently broken. In response to that, Reek here was actually activated next by Dark Lord Mac. He opened fire directly into Mayday. Did manage to wound her as well. She didn't actually fall into the abyss, but she did get a out of action result for injury. So because she has a grievous injury and will currently go into recovery. And that pretty much makes up the activations so far in turn number 2. So we'll continue on with our activations and get back to you guys. Alright, so continue with my activation, then activate Deadhead Lee. Deadhead Lee did a basic action, get back on his feet again, and another basic action, open fire. This time I used the maximal charge on the plasma gun, open fire directly into Fiddlesticks. Got really lucky on that shot, managed to hit him as well as wound him, put that guy directly out of action, so that part was excellent. Also netted me a bonus experience. Now Reek did pass his cool test, so because of he still stands his ground, so he's still pretty angry and still pretty deadly at the same time. Meanwhile, over here on the right hand side, Sepsimus goes next. He actually does a double movement to go correctly to the top of the bunker in order to help out with the fight over here between Thrax the Unclean as well as Sheik Shabazz. At the same time, he also activates Bubo, who moves up to the base of this building, so that way you can start putting some sabotaging efforts directly onto that terrain piece. And for my last set of activations so far at this point anyways, I did activate a Sheik Shabazz, did a group activation with Trixie. Now, he did try to launch a close combat attack using his stub gun directly against Thrax the Unclean, but that failed miserably, so nothing much really happened there. And then, of course, when it came to Trixie, I did a simple action reload, passed my reload ammo check, so she reloaded her hot shot last gun. She then opened fire directly onto Tulok the Broken. Managed to hit him, but failed to wound him, so because he is currently pinned. And that's the current situation with our activations thus far in turn number 2. Alright, so let's talk about the very last set of activations before the end phase on turn number 2. As you can see for Dark Lord Mac, the rest of the turn is pretty much dedicated to him. So the first thing that he did, of course, was a group activation with the Richling. It was this little dude right back over here. Did a group activation real quick with Malignus. Malignus did a double set of movements to go directly behind this bunker here. And meanwhile, he used his fast shot ability to open fire with his crack grenades from his grenade launcher. The first person he actually went over was, of course, Deadhead Lee. Managed to hit him, wound him, and put a serious injury onto him. So because of that, he is currently laying on the ground and he is bleeding out. And since his first shot was successful, the next closest target to Retchling, of course, was Trixie. However, though, he missed that shot, so it went wide. Nothing much really happened over there. Now, for the rest of the turn, as you can see over here, he did try attack with Thrax the Unclean directly into Sheik Shabazz. Managed to put a wound on that guy as well. Managed to put a flesh wound on him, so that part was kind of sad. Meanwhile, Daraslang decided to do a sabotaging action, putting 1 sabotage token on there so far. And then lastly, of course, we have the last guy who actually moved up here. That his name is, what's his name? Fess is his name. Fess did it with someone moved to go directly to the base. That way he can start sabotaging it as well. And that pretty much makes up the action phase for turn number 2. So with the faction phase over with, we go directly to the end phase. Alright, so that takes directly to the end phase of turn number 2. So during the end phase, unfortunately, for my guys over here for Scabs, I actually rolled an out cold result for him, so he really automatically goes out of action, so that part was kind of rough. And right next to him, of course, is Deadhead Lee. He actually goes out of action as well with an enfeebling injury, so that means he goes to recovery, and he also loses 1 point to his toughness as well. So that part was absolutely devastating. Now over here, of course, Gerlach, he actually makes a full recovery with his nerves, so because he's back in the fight, also nets himself a bonus experience point. And at the same time, I got 2 more fighters showing up, and unfortunately, when it came to the roll-off to see where these guys were going, I lost the roll, so these guys went all the way back here at the bottom left-hand corner again. In the back, that's Preston Garvey. He's my Outcast champion. He's got a gunslinger archetype. He's got mesh armored undersuit, long rifle, infrared sight, stub gun with dum-dum rounds, as well as fast shot ability. And right next to him is Crimson Wind and Outcast Hive Scum. He's got mesh armor, photo goggles with wild bow with a telescopic sight. He's got poisoned arrows, acid arrows, stub gun, as well as smoke grenades. And that pretty much makes up the end phase for turn number 2. Things are not looking really too well for my gang. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 3, and Dark Lord Mac and I roll off for initiative to see which of us will be going first. Alright, so with that being said, that takes us to the top of turn number 3, and Dark Lord Mac and I roll off for initiative. And I managed to get the initiative on this one, so for my very first activation, I activate Cal Jericho. Cal Jericho does a simple movement forward directly to take cover behind that wall. He does another basic action, open fire with both of his master-crafted hotshot last pistols. Put them both directly into Reek and put that guy out of action with an out cold result, so that part was pretty epic. Now from there, of course, you go directly to Dark Lord Mac, who then activates Gerlach. Gerlach has a fast shot ability, so for his 2 shots, he opened fire with both shots rapid fire with the plasma guns. The first shot went directly into Crimson Wind, put him a serious injury as well as a flesh wound, so that part was sad. The second shot managed to hit Preston Garvey as well. Now, my opponent did fail to wound me, however, though I did fail my initiative test, and so because I go plummeting into the abyss, and he gets a grievous injury result as well, which means he automatically goes out of action. And that pretty much makes up this entire turn, because at this point, I'm losing way too much fighters than I am currently comfortable with, especially over a scenario that doesn't have really much in terms of rewards. So I am calling the game at this point because I don't want to die anymore. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going directly to the post game because this game is now officially over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
So let's talk about the Gung-Ho Guns first of all. So for my injuries, I suffered quite a bit on this one. Scabs went with the out cold results, so because of that, he makes a full recovery, no problem. Preston Garvey, however, suffered a grievous injury and also makes a full recovery due to the Dox clan that's at my settlement. One shot blonde, she also suffers an eye injury as well, so she loses 1 to her ballista skill, making her ballista skill 5. And she also makes a full recovery also due to the Dox clan that's at my settlement. Now from there we go to Mayday. Mayday suffers a grievous injury, so she is still currently in recovery. And finally, Deadhead Lee got a defeebling injury, losing 1 to his toughness, making him only toughness 2 now. He makes a full recovery as well due to the Dox Clinic. Now for advancements, 2 members of my gang did level up. Cal Jericho leveled to level 2, earning +1 to his toughness, so now he's toughness 4. He also added 30 credits to his value. At the same time, Scabs also leveled to level 3, earning +1 to his cool, as well as adding 10 credits to his overall value as well. Now, for my settlement, originally started off with 16 power as well as 21 sustenance and 6 salvage. But after I started ranking up all of my benefits that I get from all my buildings, I ended up with 41 power, 36 sustenance, as well as 10 salvage. In the end, I decided to get rid of the gunk tank that I originally had in my settlement and decided to build a fungi farm instead. And once I got that fungi farm, I was able to also purchase critter defense for my settlement as well to beef up my defenses, leaving me with 21 power, 6 sustenance, as well as 26 salvage was all said and done. Now as for the trading post, I skipped this because I didn't earn any credits in this scenario as well. My new reputation now is still stuck at 10 points total. My new record now is at 6 wins and 2 losses, and my new gang rank now is at 2,865 points. So moving on to Soylent Green, which is Dark Lord Mac's gang, who are the winners of this scenario. For injuries, he had Reek, who had an out cold result, so because of that, he makes a full recovery, no problem. Rodicus also suffered a critical injury, but makes a full recovery due to the Dox Clinic that's at his settlement as well as for Fiddlesticks, he makes a full recovery, no problem. Now, during the Dark Ritual, Fecula Flyblown was actually chosen as the vessel for the Dark Ritual. The Dark Ritual does pass, at the same time earning Fecula Flyblown 2 extra experience points, and they still maintain their favor of Nurgle in this gang as well. Now for advancements, Gerlach the Champion leveled up to level 2, earning +1 to his toughness and increasing his value by 30 credits, and Reek also leveled up to level 4 as well, earning +1 to his toughness as well, making him now toughness toughness 2, back to toughness 2, and he also increased his credit rating by 30 credits as well. Now from there, of course, we go down to their settlement for Mauville. In Mauville, they originally started with 5 power, 33 sustenance, as well as 18 salvage. After they got all the benefits from their structure, they ended up with 15 power, 43 sustenance, and 44 salvage. Dark Lord Mac at this point decided not to spend any of his resources because he's actually trying to save up in order to build some more defenses for his settlement. Now for the trading post, he managed to score 120 credits from the scenario. He spent 40 of it to purchase an infra sight for Fecula Flyblown's long rifle. He also spent another 25 credits for telescopic sight for Gerlach's plasma gun. And he also spent 35 credits for dum-dum rounds for Reek, Urg, Bubo, Pustus, Malignus, Festus, as well as Rodigus. That way all their stun guns have strength 4 attacks. He also purchased smoke grenades for Dretchling for 15 credits, and he took the 5 remaining credits left over and placed it directly into the stash. Now as for his reputation, earned 2 points reputation from this scenario, increasing his reputation to 12. His new record now is at 3 wins and 6 losses, and his new gang rating now is at 2,805 points. So that's good for this one, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.